other words, you have to marry your beliefs with your behaviors if you want to make adjustments in your life. Write that down. That is so good. I'm going to say it again. You have to marry your beliefs and your behaviors if you want to see things adjust in your life. So what happens is we will marry a belief, but we won't marry the behavior. And so we bankrupt our futures, and we never see the manifestation of what it is we want to see, because you cannot just buy in at the intellectual level. You have to buy in with your whole being. When you're talking about commitment is not just something that we do in our minds. It's not just something we do, in our hopes and our dreams. You have to commit with your whole being, with your totality. And that means that your behaviors and your beliefs have to become one. You have to marry the two so that you can see manifestation in your life. And so the reason that most people never make the adjustments that they need to make is because we never marry our beliefs and our behaviors. And so we'll say something and we'll have it intellectually, but we'll look at the person's life and those behaviors are never shifting. Those behaviors are never changing. And if those beliefs and behaviors are not married, you're not going to get the outcomes that you want to see. And it's why so many people live their lives frustrated and stuck and unfulfilled and unhappy, because they don't understand that it's not enough to just have an intellectual comprehension or understanding of a thing. You have to buy into this with your whole being. And I'll know that you believe it when your behavior mirrors it. Write it down. I'll know that you believe it when your behavior mirrors it, because there are a lot of people that have sat down and talked with me over the years, and they told me a lot of things with their mouths. But when I began to look at the actions of the person, those actions and what they spoke about betray one another. And until I see that person's actions moving in alignment with what they say they want to see, I know that they haven't gotten it. Because when you believe something, that belief is going to translate into a behavior, and that thing is going to become a manifestation in your life. When you believe something, it affects everything about you. Write that down. Your belief affects everything about you. So you can't just have this mental assent of something. When you believe something, there is a conviction, there is an energy force behind what you say you believe. And so a lot of people tell me, I say, yeah, you believe that theoretically, but you don't believe that with your whole being in essence, because anything you believe, your behavior is going to become a reflection of. And so I want you to look through your life today. That's a hard truth. It was hard for me to swallow before, because there's a lot of things that I believed theoretically, but I didn't really believe them. I didn't believe them in the core of my being. So you have to understand that your belief is not intellectual. I know this is hard for some people to understand. Your belief happens in your heart. Your heart is not just the organ that pumps the blood. Your heart is the seat of your desires, motives, and intentions. Your heart, as I call it, is the central station or the epicenter of your life. And so you don't believe with your head, you believe with your heart. And whatever your heart believes, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So whatever your heart believes, your life becomes a manifestation of. Whatever your heart believes, your life will follow. Write that down. Whatever your heart believes, your life will reflect. Whatever your heart believes, your life will demonstrate. And so we say we believe, but what is our life following? What is our life demonstrating? What is our life reflecting? Because when I began to assess a lot of things that I said I believe, and I looked at my behaviors and my corresponding actions, I realized that I believed it intellectually and theoretically, but I didn't believe that in my heart, because your life follows your heart. Your life follows your passion. Your life follows your core. Your course reflects your core. And so whatever you believe in your heart is going to determine what's happening in your life. And the reason that we're not seeing breakthroughs in our lives is because we believe things with our head, but we don't believe them with our hearts. And if you don't believe in the core of your being, you're not going to see it happen. Your core is the womb of all change. All change begins with your core. All change begins with the center of your life. All change begins with the core of your being, because why? Your core is where your convictions are birthed from. Write that down. Your core is where your convictions are birthed from. And so we have a lot of things that we comprehend, but we don't have a conviction about them, because anything that is a conviction in your life, your conduct will match and follow. And so a lot of people tell me, oh, Jamelle, I want this, I want to achieve this in my life, and I don't believe them. Why? Because they say it with their mouths, but their convictions, their conducts, their behaviors do not follow what they say they believe. And so what happens, we betray our hearts over and over again because we believe it in theory, we believe it intellectually, but that thing has not taken hold of us. And until that thing has taken hold of us, it cannot become a reality or be solidified in our lives. And so this is why we don't make the adjustments. And it really boils down to we don't like discomfort in our lives. Discomfort is the womb of change, and discomfort is the womb that unlocks new dimensions in our lives. And so if you want to move from where you are to where you want to be, discomfort is going to be the vehicle that's going to get you there. And so if you are just satisfied and content with being comfortable and staying in the same place in your life, and you don't want to be inconvenienced in any way, you don't improve your life without being inconvenienced. And so many people just want a better life, but they are not willing to improve to get there, and not willing to be inconvenienced in order to improve and to get to the life that they truly want. And so if you want to get unstuck, you have to be willing to make the necessary adjustments in your life. So many people are just repeating one big cycle. They've been in that cycle for 50 years and 60 years and 70 years, and nothing is changing. Every year is just a repeat of the year before, and they continue to tell themselves the same story. And all it takes for an adjustment in your life is the audacity to break out of what is familiar. Write that down. All it takes to alter and adjust the trajectory of your life is the audacity to break out of familiarity. Familiarity is truly the greatest enemy of your future. So many times we think that people and systems and places are holding us back and keeping us out of opportunities and out of rooms and out of doors and away from tables. And in all reality, our inability to embrace change is the greatest thing that is inhibiting us from moving into the fullness of our destiny. And as long as we want to stay in that place of security and control in our lives, we'll never seize the incredible future that has been destined for our lives. And so you have to make a decision. Are you going to make the necessary adjustments to get to the next level? I can tell you this. It's going to be painful. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to like it. But the rewards of discomfort outweigh the consequences of remaining the same. Let me say that again. The pain of discomfort cannot compare to the rewards of seeing change manifest in your life. And so, yeah, if I'm willing to be inconvenienced, I'm willing to endure some discomfort and some pain if it's going to produce great change and breakthrough in my life. But what do I get by staying the same and staying in the same place? I get nothing. I get the same misery, the same unfulfillment, the same unhappiness, the same cycles and patterns over and over in my life, never being interrupted and never seeing the breakthroughs that I truly desire, when all it takes is the audacity to break out of the familiar and to do something that I've never done before. At some point in our lives, we have to make a decision. Is it worth it, to just continue to hit the repeat button over and over again, living in the same cycles, frustrated by the same things? Or will I ever have the audacity to break out of this pattern, to identify that something needs to change, and to be willing to marry my beliefs and my behaviors so that I can see the breakthroughs that I truly desire in my life? At some point, it has to move from a head compromise